And so that was when I was like, I had to come to terms with what I was feeling for him. Yeah, I can't believe that all of that happened. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a Q&A, and it has been probably years since I've last done one. I asked over on Instagram, and I also asked here on YouTube in the community tab for your questions, and you all delivered some good ones. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into them. If you're not subscribed, I would love it if you did that. You can also follow me on Instagram at Allie_Gooch. All right, let's jump in and answer the number one most frequently asked question, and that is about us moving. So I mentioned in my last YouTube video, I also have kind of talked about it on Instagram just a little bit, but we are probably going to be moving from this house. We've lived in this house for, it will be 2 years in January, and yeah, a lot of you are confused about why we are doing that, so let me answer that for you. Let me answer the question of why are we moving. We have always rented in the past, and we were just really excited to finally buy a house. When we decided we were ready to buy a house, it was in the middle of when all of the craziness of the world was kind of beginning. Also, the market was starting to pick up, so houses were becoming more expensive, but also less were becoming available. So we knew that when we found a house, we had to move fast. So we saw this house, we had to see the house, decide we wanted to buy it, and place an offer all within the same day. It was crazy. We knew that this house was not perfect, but we also didn't know if something this good would come available again anytime soon. So we jumped on it. We knew going in this was not going to be our forever home though. And there's a couple things that we don't love about this house. So the backyard is not flat, it is very steep. And also we live on a busy street, so we can't just let our kids go outside in the backyard, in the front yard, and play by themselves. That is a huge turnoff for us because we believe in kids going outside and playing. Maybe not in the front yard, but in the backyard. This house is also massive, and we do have 3 kids at this point. And I know that they're going to be growing up and requiring more space, but for us, this house is just too big. There's a whole basement level that is finished with a living area, a bathroom, a bedroom with 2 closets. We never go down there. I mean, it's the kids' playroom, but still we just don't go down there very often. So we want a smaller house. Also, the kitchen is not ideal for us. We don't love the kitchen in our house. It's beautiful, but it's not what we want. It's not ideal for like hosting and things like that. So those are just a few of the things that we're not loving about this house. But I think the number one thing is we want land. We want land. We want to have land to garden and have some chickens and things like that. And so we knew this was not going to be our forever home. Okay, the next question is, where are you moving? So we are not moving out of this city, out of this town. We're going to stay in this area, but we are on the lookout for land. Here is our rub. The market is incredible right now. Right now is like the ideal time to sell our house before the market starts to go back down. So we are probably going to wait until our 2-year mark is up, end of June, and then sell our house then. But like I said, the market's like peak right now. It's crazy. There's no houses available, and they're extremely expensive. So here's our plan. We are probably going to be selling our house and then renting. I can't believe that I'm going back to renting after having owned a house and like feeling what that feels like and like having a yard and things like that. We're probably going to be renting a townhouse again. Part of me is excited because I have some sweet memories of living in townhouses. We've actually loved it. The downside is having 3 kids with pretty much no yard for them to play in. But this is temporary. We're either going to wait, until the market settles, there's more houses available, or we're just going to go ahead and start building a house on our dream plot of land or whatever. There is some of the background, the reasons why we're moving, where we're moving. If y'all still have questions, let us know. Some of y'all are a little upset that we're leaving this house, and I understand that. I get attached to every house that I live in, and I will feel very sentimental and sad leaving this place, and it's beautiful. It really is a beautiful house. But we have dreams. We have big dreams. There's also been some people saying, like, why can't YouTubers just be, happy with where they're at? They're always on the hunt for like bigger and better. And that is not where we're at all. We knew going into this house that it was not our forever home. And we knew it was just a placeholder house. So we're on the hunt actually for smaller, just more land, because that's what our dreams are. That's what we've always wanted. And I don't think it's wrong for anybody to move as many times as they want to. Move as many times as you want to until you find exactly what you're looking for. That's kind of how I see it. The second most frequently asked question is, are you planning on having any more kids? So I have Emmy, who's 5, Oakley, who is 3, and Hudson, who is 1. They are all exactly 2 years apart. Couldn't have planned it better. We didn't actually plan Hudson. We don't know at this point. We definitely want to have a break from having kids. I just turned 30 this year, so we have some time to think about it. I don't feel done having kids. I feel like I might possibly want one more, but there are definitely days where, it's a hard day. It's a hard day trying to juggle working and 3 kids. And on those days, I'm like, oh gosh, I think I'm done. But then there's other days where, I'm going through baby stuff and packing away Hudson's clothes that he's outgrown. And I'm like, I think I want one more. Andrew, funny enough, would have a whole slew of kids. Maybe not right now, but he does want to have a lot of kids. So we'll see how it goes. I also kind of want to take my health into consideration. Having 3 kids in 5 years with a kind of a stressful job has taken a toll on my body, on me physically. I'm an easily anxious person anyways. And so just like the combination of hormones and stress, like, I just want to make sure that I'm in the healthiest place. I am healthy, but I want to make sure that I'm in a nice, healthy, just like the perfect time for us to have a kid. Not that there's ever a perfect time to have a kid, but anyways, I hope that answers the question. We may or we may not. I don't know. We'll see. The next one I got quite often was just different versions of YouTubing and how did you get started and tips for YouTubing and things like that. And I wish that I had some really solid answers for you as far as like advice and tips and things like that. But YouTube has changed a lot in the last year or so. It's becoming very more niche focused. They want you to be either solely food or solely cleaning or solely like productivity and things like that, which is not how it was when I first started. When I first started, you could do whatever type of video you wanted, and that's how I grew. I did all kinds of videos. But now, if you put out a video that is not within your like specific, very tight niche, YouTube will actually punish you for it. And that's kind of the place that I'm in now. And I'm trying to rebel against it. And I don't want, to go the very niche down focus, especially because my niche would be cleaning videos. And I'm kind of at the point where I'm a little burnt out on YouTube videos, if I'm being, or not YouTube videos, but on cleaning videos, if I'm being quite honest. So I don't really have, I guess I do have advice for you. If you want to grow your YouTube channel, just niche down hard. Do it hard, go for it all the way. Do not, break out of that niche or post a video outside of that niche. I do believe that YouTube is still a place that you can get in and grow your channel. It's not luck. It is all, hard work and intentionality, but I do believe that you can do that. As far as like equipment and things like that, I have some things linked in my Amazon storefront down below. You can check out, kind of the things that I recommend there. How I got started is I was a lonely stay-at-home mom, and I saw somebody else who was a mom, and she just shared her life on YouTube, and I was like, I loved watching her so much, and then I was like, I want to do that too. I need something that's for me. And so I did that. I posted videos that were like kind of out there, like I posted a video on how to make kombucha and how to like cook a pot of beans. The desires of my heart, like the things that I am passionate about, are actually things that you probably wouldn't even know, but I love simple living. I love gardening. I love, cooking from scratch and baking and Just kind of like the old school way of doing things, farm animals, things like that. That's what I love. I would love to have a homestead one day. So that's kind of like how I started, and the topics I kind of talked about a little bit, as well as like motherhood and things like that. And then eventually I started creating more content that was well received by viewers. And it was definitely motherhood and organization and cleaning and routines and things like that. So, you know, that's pretty much how I started. Is I noticed what people really liked and wanted to see more of from me, things that I had already been sharing. And then I just started making more and more of that kind of content. So anyways, that's how I got started on YouTube. And it's been quite the journey ever since. All right, so now I'm going to answer a question that I had asked like multiple different ways, but I'm going to kind of like whoop it into one. And it was basically, how do you stay productive with a baby at home? How do you keep your house clean with, you know, toddlers? And how do you find the balance between playing with your kids and engaging with them when you also have other things that you need to get done? Okay, so as far as like how do you get stuff done when you have a baby, it is really hard, and you kind of just have to accept the fact that like when they're awake, you're not going to get a whole lot done. But as I've gotten older, as I've had more kids, I've kind of just settled into like just enjoying sitting and playing with them, or just enjoying sitting while they're playing around you. And you really you have to just sit there and kind of enjoy your life. The more that I tried to fight that, the more frustrated I would get. And it wasn't good for me, for my kid, for any of it, for productivity. But I have learned to work during the good pockets of the day. So maybe baby was in a really good mood and would sit there and play with some toys for a little bit. So I'm going to run and go do something. Or maybe, you know, I needed to unload the dishwasher, but Hudson's going to crawl into the dishwasher. So I sit him in the high chair, buckle him in, give him a snack, and get that done really fast. Nap times are the best time to get things done. But then also, I mean, for the past 5 years that I've been on YouTube, I've gotten a lot of stuff done at night after the kids have gone to bed. So prioritizing bedtime being like early, like 7 o'clock, has been key. I have to get my kids in bed so that I have time to get work done, and then also like unwind a little bit before I go to bed myself. As far as keeping the house clean with toddlers, that one is just a lost cause. I'll be honest. My house is a disaster more often than it is not. YouTube videos, I've tried to be very honest with the state of my house before I start cleaning and showing you all that, and that's just reality. I will clean, and then my house will become a disaster by that afternoon, that evening. And it is what it is. A tip that I have that I do not follow myself, but I see the benefits of, are being a minimalist, you know, getting rid of things you don't need. Just not having a lot of things to make messes with. I would love to do that. That's just not the stage that we're at right now. And then also recruiting family members to help. I am the worst at asking for help. I will not ask for help. Usually, I'm very blessed that I have both sets of parents here, my set of parents, and then Andrew's parents are also here in town. And they will volunteer to, hey, do you want me to watch the kids this day, or whatever. I usually do not ask because it's a pride thing, and that's not a good thing. But if you can ask for help, ask for help. People want to help you. They really, truly do. And that just gives you some time to, you know, breathe. Because kids are a lot. They really are. Here's the thing about spending time with my kids when I need to get stuff done. They are with me. And that is enough. The fact that they get to be in the house with me, and we can talk back and forth while I'm doing stuff, that is enough. Kids, I don't think, and this could be controversial, but I don't think that kids need our attention all day long. That's not good for the kids, and that's definitely not good for you as the parent, because you're going to get frustrated. And also, you've got to get stuff done. It's just is what it is. But your kids will find things to do. If you just leave them be in a safe environment, they might be bored at first. They might, cry and whine, but they will eventually find things to do. And I like to think back to the olden days when the wives and the moms, all they did was cook and clean. Like, they had to make everything from scratch. They had to milk the cows and things like that. They had chores they had to do. The kids just had to hang out. They just had to be. I love bedtime. That is my intentional time with my kids, the time where we just sit and we talk and we snuggle and things like that. And of course we do those things during the day as well, but I don't think my kids are lacking. I really don't. I had quite a few questions of people asking me to share my testimony or just talk more about my faith, explain when I became a Christian and things like that. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this video. Maybe I'll go into it in another video. But I am a Christian, I'm a follower of Christ, and I'm pretty open about it on Instagram. Sometimes I'll share a little bit here and there in my YouTube videos, but it's a huge, huge, huge part of my life. I believe that my sole purpose of being on this earth is to glorify God and point people to Him. So all of the things that I do, I filter through those categories. Is what I'm doing glorifying God? Is what I'm doing pointing people to Christ? And that gives me a whole lot of purpose here on earth. Also, it helps me deal with stuff. When I know that my purpose is not to live the best life that I can live here on earth. My purpose is not to put all my eggs in this earthly basket, because I have something bigger and better to look forward to, which is, for me, heaven. This earth is temporary. It is a short little stay. And because we are sinners, it's a messed up place. There's pain, there's sickness, there's death, there's sadness. I would consider myself an empath, and I have a really, really hard time dealing with stuff, the sad stuff, the hard stuff. But knowing that this is a temporary home for me and I have a perfect heaven to look forward to, it gives me hope and it helps me get through that stuff. Also, having a relationship with Christ, having somebody who is all powerful, who can work miracles, who can do anything, who is in control and in charge of my life and can alter things that I can't do it. That also gives me hope. Having a relationship with this person, being able to talk to God and ask Him for help and peace and joy, and Him answering those prayers, that gives me hope and that gets me through things too. So, yeah, I mean, that's like my faith in a nutshell, but it's a huge part of my life. I became a Christian when I was 4 years old. I remember that specific night that I asked Jesus to be my Savior. And I don't remember a whole lot of other things from when I was 4, so I know that it was real when it happened. I was raised in a Christian home. I went to church. I was in youth group. I did Bible quizzes where I just studied all kinds of facts about God and memory verses and all these things. I was raised a Christian, and I did my devotions, every morning as a teenager and into college and things like that. But it wasn't until, I would say, this year that I just had this awakening and this understanding of God and my purpose on earth. And I've just seen Him work in so many mighty ways in my life. And yeah, so that's kind of my faith in a nutshell. I wasn't going to go into it very much, but there it was. The next question that I got was, how do you find time to read your Bible, do your quiet time with little kids around? And I've kind of touched on this on Instagram as well, but it's hard. I am not the type to get up early in the morning before my kids are awake. I am a night owl. Like I said, I get a lot of my work done at night. And so I like to sleep in as much as I can in the morning. And that's just the stage of life I'm in right now. So maybe later down the road, I'll be able to get up early. But I think that the Lord blesses that time that I do spend with Him no matter what. So I will open up my Bible. I will have my cup of coffee. I will have babies crawling all over me, toddlers talking to me while I'm trying to read my devotions. It is very chaotic. It is not a very focused or quiet time. But like I said, I think the Lord blesses it even so that I tried. Another thing is I want my babies to see me open my Bible in front of them. I want them to see me spending that time, prioritizing that time. So I don't think it's a bad thing that they're around when I'm doing my devotions, when I'm trying to. And then throughout the day, I'm praying all day long. And then sometimes at night, when it is quiet, I will crack open my Bible and, read a little bit before I go to bed. But I do think it's really important to try and spend that time first thing in the morning, even with your babies around, to kind of set the tone for the day. Okay, another kind of frequently asked question was, this was just one question, but somebody asked if I missed the kids while they're at school during the day. And then the second part of that question was, do you have any plans for homeschooling in the future? So, of course I miss my kids. I love my kids being with me, but I also work full-time from home, and I need my kids to be out of the house so that I can spend time working. I compare it to somebody working a full-time job outside of the home. You wouldn't be expected to bring your kids with you to get that work done. And it's the same as working from home. I have my kids home a lot. Oakley only goes to school 2 days a week. Hudson's home 5 days a week. Emmy's at school 5 days a week. Well, Hudson's home 7 days a week. But anyways, so I do have my kids home a lot. It is not the same as working outside the home. I think it is harder in some ways. But when my kids are at school, I don't really have time to sit there and feel like I miss them, because I am like cramming all of the work that I can get done into the time that they are at school. Thoughts on homeschooling in the future. So if you don't know, I was homeschooled all of my life except for first and second grade. I loved it. I see so many benefits to being homeschooled. And I at first thought that I was going to homeschool my kids. That was, the way it's done. And this year, actually, Emmy was starting kindergarten, and I was going to homeschool her. I started homeschooling her and quickly realized a couple things. Number one, I don't know that I want to homeschool. Number two, Emmy needed to be around other kids. She kind of needed that in-school environment. And number three, I didn't have time. I didn't. I have work I have to do. And so in the middle of the beginning of the school year, I decided to put her into school. And it was the best decision we could have ever made. And then we also put Oakley into school 2 days a week. As of now, we are loving it. It is the very best thing for our family. However, I always reserve the right, I guess, to pull them from school if anything ever comes up that I am not happy with, not comfortable with. And I'm not talking about that school specifically. I'm saying like world events, or if things just start to go in a direction I am not loving, I will very quickly pull my kids from school, and I will do what I have to do to homeschool them. I love homeschooling. I think there's so many benefits to it. But at this point, okay, 2 people asked me to describe my kids' personality, so I thought that would be a fun one. Emmy is my oldest. She's 5 years old. She is super smart. She has always been that way, and she's very social, loves to be around other kids, other people. She is not super snuggly, although I do think she has a nurturing side to her. So that's Emmy. Oakley is my middle. He's 3. He is a ham. He has a sense of humor. He is very snuggly. He is, I do believe, an empath. I think he is very in tune with other people's emotions. He reads people really well. I know what that's like, and I think it is a blessing and it is a curse at the same time. So that is Oakley. And then Hudson, he's only 1, so it's kind of hard to tell, but I believe that he has a sense of humor. I kind of think that he's in between Emmy and Oakley. I don't think that he's going to be as like just in tune with people's emotions the way Oakley is. I don't know. It's hard to tell. He's only 1, but he does have a little sense of humor, which is adorable. All right, let's go back to talking about houses real quick. Somebody asked me which of my previous homes have been my favorite and why. So I don't know how long y'all have been around, but I did start filming in our very first place. Well, actually it was the second place we lived in once we were married, but it was the first place that I had a baby in. And that was my townhouse here in Virginia. I don't know if any of you guys remember those videos. If not, don't go back and watch them. They are cringeworthy, that is for sure. But I think that might have been my favorite place. I was very upset when we had to move it. Not because it was beautiful or anything, but I don't know. I just loved it. So I loved that one. Like I said, not because it was updated or beautiful, but I loved it. The next favorite was the Charleston apartments. I think I almost liked the first one better. The second one was okay, but we lived in two within like 1 year. The first one I think I liked better. But I can't tell if I didn't like living in an apartment because we had no place to, go outside with the kids. We had to go up and down stairs. You had neighbors, but I think it's the memories attached to it. Emmy was so little. I was pregnant with Oakley. I don't know. I loved that one. And then, not gonna lie, I did not like the last townhouse we lived in. That was just not my favorite at all. Did we live anywhere else? We've lived in another apartment, but that was before YouTube, and we didn't live in there for very long. So anyways, there's that. All right, somebody asked, where do you see your family in 2 years? I love this question, and I think everybody should ask themselves this question. Where do you see yourself in 2 years? The reason I think it's important to ask yourself this question is you're setting a goal. You're saying, this is what I want. You're dreaming. Like, dreaming is such a good thing to do. So, and you can be out there with it. Like, you never know. A lot can happen in 2 years. So don't be afraid to dream big. So I like to look, out 2 to 5 years in advance in the future. And then from there, you can build actionable steps, actual goals that you can meet. And you break it down. Say you're doing a 2-year goal. This is where I want to be in 2 years. And then you break it down year by year. So in 1 year, this is where I need to be in order to be here in 2 years. And then you break down each year into months. And this is what I need to do each month to get myself to this year, to then this year 2 final end goal. And then you break it down into weeks, and then you break it down into days, and it gives you something every single day you need to do in order to get to here. So where do I see myself in 2 years? On some land, with some chickens, with a garden, I can't talk about this yet. I am working on something right now, and it is it's a scary thing to work on because I don't know how it's going to go. But like I said, my faith is strong in the Lord, and I have seen him answer prayer after prayer after prayer. And every day I pray, Lord, is this what you want me to do? Is this what I'm supposed to do? And if he leads me in these directions, and then I finally get to a place and he's like, nope, just kidding, that's not where you're supposed to be, I can trust him still. So I have a dream. I have a vision. I am praying every day to see if this is what I'm supposed to do, and I'm taking steps every day to get there. So, but I'll share more and more as I start it and figure it out and things like that. But I want to go a different direction and pursue some of my my passions, things I'm interested in, gardening and homesteading, and just I don't know, more of who I am. So we'll see. But that's where I see myself in 2 years, with whatever the thing is that I'm working on, thriving, being up and running, and on some land with some chickens, with a garden, things like that. Somebody asked about, a couple of people actually asked about sourdough. So I keep saying that I am doing something where I can share my sourdough recipes. So I'm still working on that, and I don't know when it'll be ready, but it'll be ready soon, and it'll have recipes for you all. I definitely have some of my own that I have created that I love and are my favorites, and I can't wait to share those with you. So just stay tuned. If you are not aware, I have a highlight over on Instagram where I share how to create a sourdough starter from scratch, and I share myself making one and updating every day, and I give the recipe and instructions, and if you ever want to make a sourdough starter from scratch, go over to that highlight and follow those steps to a T. But I also love troubleshooting, so I'm happy to help if something's like not going quite right. But I love sourdough. It's a huge passion of mine. I love it so much. So I'll be sharing some of that stuff soon. Another one was best tips for first-time gardeners. So I'm actually not, because we're moving, not going to be planting a garden in our backyard in this house, obviously, because then I'd have to leave it in the middle of peak growing season. Also, it's expensive kind of to start from, scratch. So I'm going to be doing container gardening, and I plan on sharing all of that with you. I'm going to be planting like my main garden this week. So stay tuned for videos on that, Instagram, stuff like that. My best tip for first-time gardeners is just to do it. It's daunting, especially when you don't know anything, but just do it. That's what I did. I just did it. And I figured it out as I went. There are some resources for you, though. I love the M.I. Gardener on YouTube. He has taught me so much. Also, my neighbor, Linda, she's from Veggie360, is her YouTube channel. I have it linked for you. She is just starting her channel, but already what she's shared is so good, and she's going to be sharing more of that. With that being said, find yourself a mentor, somebody who already knows about gardening, and ask them for help. More than likely, they're going to be so excited to help you because they're probably very passionate about it. And I've always found that people who are experts on something don't mind helping somebody else. And then when you become an expert, you can, turn around and return the favor to somebody else. So my neighbor from Veggie360 is my mentor. I've asked her for help, and actually we've kind of bartered. I've been helping her with her YouTube channel, and she's been helping me with gardening. So if you need to barter, barter. But yeah, find yourself a mentor, watch YouTube videos, and then just get started. Somebody else also asked me what I routinely make with my sourdough starter, and I always have English muffins made. Usually we make them about 3 times a week. We also make pancakes a lot. I make bread a lot, both like artisan loaves and soft sourdough, like sandwich loaves. Cinnamon rolls are frequent. There's so many options for sourdough. All right, I'm going to answer this last question. This is actually a question that I have answered before, but I know that I have some new followers here that are watching this video, so I thought I would answer it for you who don't know. But a lot of people asked how Andrew, my husband, and I met, and we actually met on Tinder, which is the last place I ever thought that I would meet somebody. But we met on Tinder. We actually went to the same college, had some of the same classes together, never met each other there. We had mutual friends, never met each other at college, but we met each other on Tinder. He was the first person that I met up with in person. We met at a coffee shop. I actually took my best friend with me, Taylor, and had her like sit at another table and pretend she wasn't with me, but just like to make sure I was safe. She was my wingwoman. So Andrew's the first person that I met, but I continued to go on dates after I met him, but I just kept talking to him. And like there were dates that I went on, and I would, just not feel it with these people, and he kept like always being there. He would come over to my apartment and be there when I would like this is so awkward, but I would come home from a date and like he would be there because I had roommates and he would hang out with them too. But yeah, I can't believe that all of that happened. Okay, so when we first met and started talking, he made it very clear. He said, I'm getting off of Tinder. I don't want to be on there anymore. He's like, basically like, you are it for me. And I continued to be on Tinder. And I kept asking him to just be my brother. I was like, please just just be my friend. Come on. Like, I don't want you to go anywhere, but like, I don't want to date you right now. Or I don't want to date anybody right now. But so anyways, he made that very clear that he was getting off of Tinder, and I continued to go on these dates. And one day he was like, actually, I think I'm going to get back on Tinder. And that is when I was like, no way, not you. And so that was when I was like, I had to come to terms with what I was feeling for him, and I didn't want him to go on dates with other people. And that's when I was like, okay, I had stopped. I just want to make it clear. I had stopped going on dates with people at that point. But I had not said to him that I liked him and wanted to date him. But at that point, I did tell him, okay, I actually do like you. And that's when we started dating. So there's our little story in a nutshell. All right, so that is it for this Q&A. I hope I answered some of your most pressing questions and you all have some clarity now. If you have any more questions, let me know. But if you're not subscribed, I would love it if you did that now. You can follow me on Instagram at Allie_Gooch. Stay tuned for some exciting new stuff coming from me. I will probably share it on Instagram, but probably here as well. Let me know what kinds of videos you want to see from me next as well. And yeah, I love you all, and I will see you in the next one.